10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item. During combat, it will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is, instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am, because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden. In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spore's eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side. So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They
they're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong, and not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No, stop. You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roll with Advantage. Very excited to be here for this episode of The Adventures of the Salamander Coast. Cameron will not be here. He had other things he had to do, and obviously Evan is no longer playing in the Salamander Coast. Hopefully, he enjoys being a father to baby number 2. That was a weird way to phrase that. Congrats, Evan, on the second child. The bloodline continues. Let's roll the intro.
For what I'm fucking doing, but I'm trying every fucking day.
I would have never even met you.
sure it's a very lengthy repertoire. But
a powerful warrior, which, I definitely agree with you on, but
Post it.
And we're
I'm
back.
gonna post it so everyone can know.
And we're back. So, let's go ahead and dive into tonight's session. So the DM does not do the summary here on Roll with Advantage. The players do. So who's doing Mark's summary this week?
It's actually Mark this time.
So Mark, did you write your own summary or are you reading Mark's?
No, I'm gonna read Gemma's.
Okay.
Gemma, what do you got? All right, cool. Let's do it. Book 9, Chapter 27 of the Salamander Coast. The party fought their way toward the glyph, hoping to cleanse the manor before they needed to kill either of their enemies. Unfortunately, both Hiroto and the tree spirit were incredibly deadly, bringing the party to the brink of death. That's redundant. Who the fuck wrote this? During the fight, Renshi transitioned into his autumn form, a wise elder, and tried to convince Hiroto to return to the light in his final moments. But he failed, as the Dark One's hold was just too strong. Left with little other choice, Ajax charged after Hiroto and defeated him, even going so far as to balefire him out of the weave. As he did, he felt a strange presence that he had never felt before, a creeping darkness within the radiance. But it was gone in an instant, and the party managed to complete the ritual with the glyph before the tree spirit could land a final blow on any of them. As it spilled out its corruption, it revealed its true form, a tiny creature made of flowing leaves. It told them that the next destination on their path was a nexus for the spirits of Adarashi, and the answers to curing Opokami's blight would be there. The spirit returned to peace as they left the manor, small bits of sunlight already returning to the area. As they rested, Ajax and Bianca talked to Autumn Renshi. He explained his role in the Renshi's lives and that this part of him was close to death. He would be returning to another form tonight, since being an Autumn had become very exhausting for him. Bianca asked about Winter Renshi, prompting Autumn to recall a former time when all 4 of the seasons came out in equal measure before something happened and he felt forced to keep Winter at bay. They encouraged him to give Winter a chance to help, given that he was in such supportive company. They also asked about the 5th version of Renshi that Bianca saw, which Autumn admitted he had the least sense of, a mysterious part of them that had unique intentions. Lastly, he explained that his scroll was written in a different language than the others, but that they should trust the Renshis to discern it. Later in the night, Ajax and Aracilla talked about the dark sensation he felt during the fight. He reminded her of the balefire dagger, a terrible last resort that she still had ready to use. But they both agreed not to dwell on it, and to move on and only bring this up if he felt something similar again. Then, Bianca spoke to Aracilla about her mood, noticing something had been off. She admitted that there was something about their path ahead that she would need to tell the rest of the party about, old business that might come up. They decided to play some music rather than discuss it in detail then. In the night, Autumn Renshi, in a dream, met the 5th Renshi, Magic Renshi. He told Autumn that he needed to allow himself to die. He had already fulfilled his purpose. He wasn't sure what it would mean for the others, but he knew that he could trust Winter Renshi to have control. And after some thought, Autumn felt relief and agreed to rest. A transition occurred, and by the morning, Autumn had died, and Winter had awoke. But then, there was a knock at the sanctum door. It was Suna, panicked that the party had apparently been missing for 3 whole weeks. And while they were gone, the crack in the sky had opened wider, and dark tendrils were spiraling out around the whole world. She started to panic that maybe the party were just illusions,
causing Caracilla to comfort her and start to welcome her in. However, there was still some suspicion. Was this truly Suna? And had they truly been gone for longer than they thought? Or was it everyone?
Exactly. Thank you, Mark. So that's right where we're going to pick up. Within Caracilla's sanctum, or on the precipice of it, the threshold of it, the fireplace blazing, the brazier blazing behind you, Caracilla, as you embrace Suna, comforting her, at least hoping that it is truly her. As you hold her in that moment and just begin to pull away, Caracilla, you receive a message from the spell sending from Lila. Lila says something to the effect of Malice is dead. Killed, not by Balefire, as well as Mirka. And there have been more discoveries related to time and the Forerunner's purpose in solving that issue. You quickly respond as to not distract or worry Suna, telling them about the crack growing, the tendrils, and I feel like there was one more thing you said on Saturday.
I mean, there was, but Lila also didn't talk about the time stuff. She mentioned the Keothi stuff.
That's what it was. Okay.
And so that's what Caracilla mentioned, that Malice was trying to get it to a dream thing. And there's also supposedly one for time.
Okay, cool. So Keothi, you learned that Keothi was saved by the Silent Shields and Ephron and is currently back in around Maester, not before they were attacked, and Ephron was stolen by Malice.
Yeah.
So you received that information, and the scene continues. So Caracilla, you received that information, obviously processing a lot, but Suna, this supposed panic attack time bomb in front of you, she seems calm for the most part, trusting for the most part right now, but still standing on the outside within the forest, not in the sanctum itself. So you can see her eyes jittery, her breathing more regulated, but still a fair bit of tension across her shoulders. Do you welcome her in, or do you continue to kind of keep her at bay for a bit?
I mean, that's the question though. Is she able to invite more people in once the spell's been cast?
I like to think so. It's high enough level. That would make sense, you know?
Okay. Man, not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for no, but I feel like it's also a good thing for it to be yes. Just not in the circumstance. Because I could have been like, oh, sorry, technicalities, babes, you understand?
I mean, you are Caracilla. You can still do that.
I mean, taking a quick glance to the rest of the party, what's the vibes with everyone else?
Bianca, I think, was really cautious at first, but seeing Suna in such a state, I think she kind of, her guard's down and kind of wants her to come in and take that risk. If it's everyone, it's working on her because she feels bad.
I would say Cecily is just confused as hell right now and just really wants more information. To an extent that you can tell she's kind of bypassed any sort of suspicion. She's just so taken aback by everything that Suna said that she wants more answers to that and isn't super concerned with who it might be or if this is some sort of trick.
Ajax definitely feels bad because I believe last week he rolled pretty good on his insight and basically feels like this is Suna, and because he kind of grabbed out at her to possibly stop her from dispelling magic. Ajax feels really bad, so he's okay with letting her in.
Yeah, so then, in that case, Carousel will welcome her into the sanctum.
Okay. As you do, she sheepishly kind of walks in, and just from anybody with a passive insight higher than 12, I mean, she is thoroughly investigating the door itself to make sure that it's not some type of illusion. Intensely studying the threshold of the door as she enters to make sure that it is true. But as she enters and as that warmth hits her, you can see so much of that tension dissolve. As she looks to you, Carasilla, and says, "It is you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I just... Opokami has been playing so many tricks on me since I got here. And it's not the first time I've seen all of you.
Then I'm glad you were cautious. Means you're keeping yourself safe. And it's evidently been working if you're here. But if you'd like to sit down, I could get you some tea.
She kind of sheepishly nods her head. I would say, Carasilla, having been in this close proximity to her with your passive insight of 22, it seems like she's holding something back. You're not sure what it is exactly, but there's still something more that she hasn't said or elaborated on, as she sort of like solemnly nods and heads over to take a seat.
Yeah. I mean, Carousel will go off to get tea, but she will also, given the message from Lila and also,
The overlay.
and also, what Suna's been saying as well, she would cast Sending, and she's going to cast Sending to Alton. Man, thank you for that. I said she's casting Sending to Alton.
Okay.
So yeah, just as she's like gone from the room, so Suna can't like, you know, think that she's being sus.
For sure,
it's not
for sure.
really, but anyways. So yeah, she'll just say, Alton, has it really been weeks? And what's happened with the sky? Is Kyothi okay? Heard there was an attack on the returning party. Stay safe.
You do receive a response. You hear Alton. We've been trying to reach out, but none of our messages were arriving for a few days now. Sorry, I realized I wasn't counting. We've been trying. Kyothi is here now, but we had been deceived. The real Kyothi is here now. Give or take 25. I think that was maybe 26.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can cut out now and it still makes sense.
Yeah.
I think she just kind of had that kind of like sigh of relief at that. And so like it was just that they've been trying to reach us for a couple of days, not that we've been gone a couple of days, right? That's the implication.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess either way that still lines up, because then surely they wouldn't have tried to contact us as soon as we left. So yeah, Carousel will just return. Set some tea down in front of Suna. I was also able to reach out to people back in Maester. They seem certain that Kyothi is truly safe. She wasn't initially, but seems it is really her now.
I know with sending you might not know, but was anyone hurt?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if people were, though.
Okay.
But in other good news, still just like kind of addressing the group, seems Malice is temporarily dispatched.
That
That's
is
good.
some good fucking news.
Yes.
Shouldn't be all up in your dreams anymore, so that's good.
And the same can also be said with Merca, one of the other Forsaken.
Just temporarily.
Yeah, was this not a balefire situation? Is that what you mean?
It was not. Suppose they didn't get the chance. But either way,
What the
they
hell
can't...
was that? Sorry, I just was very distracted. There was a squelching noise.
Okay.
My bad. I'm in it again.
Either way, it means that they won't be returning, at least instantly. Should give us some time.
Help us focus on the ones we run into on our hunt for Desmond.
Yes. Less Forsaken we have to worry about, the better.
Well, I'm a little worried if we're trying to race against the clock. It feels like we've been here maybe 3 days, right? That's not just me? 3 or 4?
I think that's accurate, Joe. It feels like we've only been here for a few... Yeah. So yeah, Bianca will nod to that. She also will find a blanket to, like, wrap Suna in, because gotta be cozy.
Hell.
Oh, there we go!
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Bianca.
And she'll, like, kind of rub the shoulders as she then turns back to Cecily. No, yeah, that's all I thought it was.
So... what then, Suna? Do we think a day is a week here? Do we think we've just been going into a coma every time we sleep?
I don't know. Opokami has always been strange. People experience things differently here. Ever since the first war against the Shadow, things have been different. And you see she kind of looks to Carasilla and then looks away. There was an event recently, within the past year or so, that made things even stranger in Opokami. I think that from the studies I was able to do in Shiroi with the mages there, what seems to be happening is the veil between spirits and the realm of dreams and this world, as well as the pillars of time and this world, are beginning to weaken. Time is moving differently everywhere. And people say that they can see the spirits of loved ones in their dreams very, very vividly. And you see she starts to breathe a little bit more intensely. and not in a very positive light. So, I don't know.
How long? Go ahead.
It was a nothing thought. Just processing. So the world is unraveling. Is that it?
I think so, yeah. Something's happening. Some type of process, maybe a ritual of some kind. I don't know. Something is inviting all of this chaos. And one place is in Akai City. That's where the pull seems to be strongest, but also from the college, we've received reports from one of the headmasters there in the far western portions of Calderaz. It's the valley of fiends, where the portals to hell and the abyss lie on the material plane. The other one is coalescing there. Those are the two strongest pulls right now.
Well, we do know the Forerunners are currently in the Hells, so hopefully that's being handled by them, because obviously we need to take care of what's happening here, and it seems like we're racing against a really fast clock right now.
Well, hey, we're both headed in the right direction at least. That's a very good start.
Mm-hmm. And I will say one thing, the crack in the sky, it got worse maybe. It was as soon as I arrived in Opokami, right as we were arriving on the shores. So that was maybe a week ago. So I suppose for all of you, that was maybe earlier today, yesterday. Did anything happen here that may have caused that?
We cleanse the spirit, but
I don't know if that lined up. There was maybe... I feel like the cleansing would have happened after that happened. Unless I'm misremembering the timeline there, but things kind of got worse. We had to... I mean, the tree spirit was very aggravated. It all kind of came to a climax, so maybe something like this curse was particularly irritated with our influence around the time that happened. But this area is cleansed now. It's clearly the land is still needing work.
Hold on. Okay, I'm having a brain blast right now. Give me a sec, this might go nowhere. So, way back in, oh god, what was that little town with the bartender who was balding and hated Bianca?
Mika?
Yeah, that one. So none of you remember this, but there was a rock. Not the rock, but like the big bird.
Mm.
I haven't really brought this up with anybody, but that situation got really bad, and I had a scroll at the time that I felt like I had no choice but to use, and I took it out of the weave. It just was gone, and it seemed like I was the only one who knew what happened. Like all the people in the town thought that some, I don't know, storm or something knocked down the buildings, or there was a fight earlier. I don't know. They just accepted it.
Like,
and moved on.
Like how balefire works?
Right. Just like how balefire works.
But people, you said, forgot about it.
Well, what I'm thinking, I remember feeling off when it happened. It was wrong somehow to take something out. I remember thinking about listen, I don't usually talk all spiritual like this, I guess, but when I cast things, I can feel the weave, little threads. I can pull on them, I can twist them together, make knots. It's a really dangerous thing to mess with, and I felt like I had just taken something out. And that was going to weaken the whole system.
So you think this is a similar event? On a bigger scale, maybe? Is that what you're saying?
What if, whenever one of us, or anybody that you can call the good guys, balefires something and takes it out of the weave, the weave is one thread weaker. And now the thing that holds together all of space and time has a big enough gap in it, the Dark One can start fucking with it.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Did it? I don't know. I kind of just followed a...
I think it's possible, because it does seem like every time we take a step forward, it somehow also is... we see results that are bad, right? Like, for instance, the crack in the sky. It feels like we had made so many steps forward, and then something so drastic happened at all. Maybe I at least was taking it as the Dark One is scared, and so trying to take drastic measures, but maybe it is, which I don't know how we would stop, balefiring. Like, how else are we supposed to fight against the Dark One?
I have a question for the dumb.
Yes.
Yes. When Suna told us, when this thing got worse in the timeline of things, when that got worse was not around the same time that we, used balefire, killed Hiroto.
I mean,
Or was it?
It's hard to tell with the exact timing of everything, but she did say either yesterday or earlier today, and you did double cast balefire earlier today.
And that was
Oh.
So as this is all being said,
Understood a little bit there.
Ajax's ears slightly go down.
Oh.
As he goes,
Well, this probably has nothing to do with anything, but...
And he looks to Carasilla and looks back to the party.
After I cast the second Balefire, I felt the presence of what I felt when I was undead. For a very slight second. But almost like that voice that I heard when I was consumed by darkness was reaching out again. And Suna, you said that this happened either yesterday or earlier today, and well, today is when I used Balefire twice. It couldn't be related, right?
You see Suni, he goes, wait a minute. I know it might not be exactly related, but when it comes to Dragonborn, this is something Sultana talked to me about. There are two halves to each Dragonborn pair. One chromatic, one metallic. Typically, the metallic ones are always good, and they always do good things. But then there are the chromatic ones, and the chromatic ones always do bad things. But it's not because they're built that way, it's because the everything, I don't know, the universe, whatever word you want to use, it needs balance. So if I start doing bad things like, you know, in my previous life,
We know Suni.
Sultana needed to do good things to balance it out. And so maybe, just like Cecily said, I hate to give her credit, but, you know, good job. Just like she said, it could be that when you remove a cancerous thread, it's just removing a thread. To remove something bad, you have to remove something good, and you weaken the whole thing. I mean, how many toothpicks can you remove before the whole thing kind of comes crumbling down?
But then what do we do? What do we just stop balefiring? Like, do we stop? Like, I understand balance. It's something that I've been fighting with as well inside me about this whole thing that light and dark coexist, that you can't have one without the other. But maybe that's it. Sorry, I'm kind of working through it as I'm talking. Maybe we shouldn't be thinking about it in the terms of good and evil, but light and dark. Maybe we need to be replacing darkness with things that are dark that aren't innately evil, so that it's not replacing the light or the good, it's just filling that space. But I don't even know how to do that. This is all just theoretical, of course. Like,
We can't stop using Balefire. If we do, then they'll just always come back.
I know, I don't.
In a battle of attrition, we would lose first if we stop.
I also don't think it's as simple as just being a balance. I mean, we know there are so many realities in which the Dark One was victorious, and none that have been known where the light is. That's not a balance.
Right.
And if the world is not balanced truly between light and dark, if the balance is always rested more so towards the dark, then that's a balance that needs to be changed.
How do we change it?
Side thought. Maybe it's okay to make a wound, we just have to close it. What if, you know, let's say you have a snake bite or something. you have it on your hand, so you cut off your hand. Just like we were saying, you got rid of something good and something bad at the same time, but you had to do it to keep the whole thing intact. But you can't just go on. If you leave the hole where your hand used to be, then other stuff gets in.
What?
And I guess in that case, that would be darkness winning. Because light can only hold itself together when there isn't a wound in the system. So
How?
maybe we just need to find a way to tie together the threads after we take some.
And Cecily, like you said, you feel the weave. You can make, as you said, knots and tugs and things. I don't want to speak for everybody here, but that is not something that I've been able to. Yeah, I have some limited magic, but not to the degree where I can feel the literal weave.
I have absolutely zero, so you do speak for me.
I hate to put that pressure on you, but do you have any idea of maybe even making a spell that we can share with people to help heal that? Would a spell even work?
I don't make spells. I just sort of, they show up.
Have you ever tried?
Well, no. I always assumed it was just for those book magic people. You know, I'm more street magic.
Well, not to speak out of turn, but, Suni, how many books do you read? Because you just know magic.
Okay, Dick. Yeah, alright. Thanks.
Well, I mean, it was a good point. Gotta give him that.
Oh, here, wait. Actually, wait, Ajax, you dropped that? Do you want that? Do you want that now, or should I keep it?
Oh, sorry. I think you actually meant that for me, because don't fuck with Ajax, and I return.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
I
I'm
will,
gonna reel us
I will
back
take that
in
as a
here
badge
little.
of honor.
I'm gonna reel this back in a little bit here.
Oh
A lot of tense emotions. Hey, Cecily, I know it might seem daunting because it's something new, but there is something you said to me a long time ago, or what feels like a long time ago.
Hey, here in Opakami, maybe it was.
You wanted to use your abilities to heal, or support, or mend. I think this is a great opportunity for you to utilize what you've learned on the streets to heal these wounds that you brought up. I mean, you were the one that suggested all of this, really. Not suggested the spell, of course, but I think we need to give you a little bit, you need to give yourself a little bit more credit. You know more than you let on, even to yourself.
It won't work. As all of you kind of turn to look to the voice, you see standing at the top of the staircase, beginning to walk down, Winter Wrenchy.
Oh, it's Winter Wrenchy.
Oh? How come?
She can't do it. She's never been able to do it. Never.
What's to say today or tomorrow wouldn't be the day? There's a first for everything, right?
There isn't a first that I haven't seen. It's my duty to see the end of everything. And I can tell you, she's never done it. Not that she would know. She hasn't even tried yet. But I know she can't do it.
Wait a minute. All those versions we tunneled through, all those dead timelines when we were going back to Bronze Grove, you're saying you've seen all of them? You know how we fuck up every time?
It's the burden winter carries. I'm the one who fails. I'm the one who dies, who has the final death. So spring can blossom anew, to wax poetics and be the great master, so he can squander his time, raising apprentices who will kill each other, spend his time cavorting with adventurers so he can do what? Die in summer? Do nothing with his time as autumn except hand out wisdom like someone's grand old uncle? No. Each iteration pointless until me. And I don't even do anything. I try. And I fail. You fail, you all fail. Every time. Carasilla, do you know how many times you've died at Delner's Pass? The horse gave out too soon. The rest of the runaways just a few days behind in the Bansheen slaughter. You and your sister? Bianca, I'm sure you don't know how many times Hades claimed your soul and didn't give it back. Or Cecily. Magni and Modi snap your neck and your friends can't bring you back. Ajax, a rage envelops you after watching Amelia die, and you start killing guards. A primal rage. Little did you know those same guards investigating the murder on that day. They were drow you didn't see. They were Bansheen. They were that close. The fact you all have made it this far is astonishing, but I've heard this conversation. I have seen this unfold before. The same conversation, beat for beat. You think you all are special. You think you all are going to be the ones to make a difference, but you're not. You are not.
That is enough. Enough, Winter. Enough. If you haven't realized, we only have one timeline left. And yes, we may have failed in the others, but we don't have another chance.
Yes, we don't have another chance. You say your lines perfectly scripted.
Winter. Maybe you've heard all of this before. So we could use that knowledge to push us to be different. And I don't need a retort. I understand that you don't care what we're saying right now, but I'm going to try to get you to understand that winter, the season, doesn't have to only be death. It is preservation for what is to come. It is necessary for rebirth. And of course you're bitter. You've seen it all, like you said. How is that not disheartening? How is that not morale breaking? But to not try at all? We have to. Even if we've all failed, like Ajax said, every other timeline. Maybe we've never done this with Cecily before. Maybe you can help guide her. What's so wrong with trying just for the sake of potentially having a spring again? It could happen. You could help us. Winter, I'm begging you. Please. We need you. And I think you want to help us too.
Does.
There's a dagger. a dagger in Kyojin, the capital of Opokami. A dagger that Draven Hunt currently wields. That should he be killed with balefire, the dagger will shatter and break. Should he be killed at all, the dagger will shatter and break. It's a crystalline dagger. It's not very effective as a weapon to pierce armor, but it is an artifact that Malice had been tracking for many years. She wanted to steal it from Draven. Sorry, if I've been saying Draven this whole time?
Yeah, did you mean Desmond?
I meant Desmond, yeah, because he's the one in Kyojin. Sorry, that was my bad. I caught it right there, and I was like, that's not right. Desmond. Malice wanted it from Desmond, but she wasn't ever able to get it from him. And I will say, the only other time that that dagger was taken was in a timeline where Malice wasn't dead here. She took it. And in the end, one half of her plan was able to be executed. Now, I can't speak to exactly what she did. But in those final days, as time began to fall apart, those who died and came back to life said the only face they saw was that of Malice Baynir and miles of spider silk. So that dagger is connected to something within the world of dreams, the world of souls. But Desmond cannot die. If he does, the dagger is shattered. So you either have to break the enchantment or keep him alive. The thing is, he knows this.
Would explain why he's so cocky.
Exactly.
In that timeline, and Malice was able to get this dagger, did she keep him alive? Just somewhere? What did she do?
She kept him alive, but not because she needed to. She broke the enchantment. And she kept him alive in the Underdark. And rumor says feasted on him each night. Agonizing pain he endured for thinking he could outsmart Malice Baynir. Have to give him credit, though. He outsmarts her most of the time. That's what I can offer you. I must encourage you, though, please. Ensure that you make it through Tatekawa. Many lines have ended because you do not. I myself, no version of Renshi has walked through Tatekawa with you. But there are some histories where you don't make it out. I do not know what is there, I do not know what awaits you, but I do know that the spirits have cursed that land. They consume all who enter the city, but in every single version of this world, you go to Tatekawa. It is a linchpin in the timeline. So just please make it out.
But you have nothing to offer on what happens there.
Not necessarily, other than the spirits of that place are vengeful. Very vengeful. Not just for what happened with the children of the flame, with Draven, and with you and Morwen, but with everything these lands have endured, all the way going back to the first war against the Shadow and the first Emperor. In fact, it's said that that city has been cursed for 2,000 years because the first Emperor of Atarashi he took his last breath in the city of Tatekawa. And they say in his last breath, he put a curse on that city so it would never know happiness. So it would never know peace.
Can you at least tell me if I was right about the balefire thing?
Balefire does make the sky weaker, makes the tendrils stronger, and in fact, when each Forsaken is eliminated, the rest of them get more powerful. So, does Balefire shred away the weave? I couldn't tell you, but from what I can see, what I have seen, using Balefire makes things worse, but there's no other choice.
It's just dumb brain. Hiroto wasn't a Forsaken, right? He was just like a really strong henchman.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, cool. I was like, shit.
C-Ville.
It's C. Okay.
Yeah, C tier.
Ajax is still internally, as this is all being said, just like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cecily will respond to Winter Renshi with, well, that's mostly bad news, but fuck yeah, me. Okay, if we're gonna do the spell thing, I'm gonna need everyone else we know who does spells to help out with that. I wouldn't even know where to start. So we're talking Emerald, we're talking Bolarolos, hell yeah, I was thinking Bolarolos. Talking...
Necromancer, man.
Yes.
Also, what Renshi was saying is if we are able to get our hands on that dagger, you might be able to use that to... It sounds like Malice reshaped the weave when she was successful, or was trying to, which is why it was half successful. She was making a reality that was Malice World. I don't know what she was trying to do.
It's a theme park.
Not very fun. But we could obviously go that route of study. But if we can get this dagger, it may expedite that. And maybe we should look into either breaking this enchantment. Maybe breaking the enchantment would be easier, because I don't know how we're going to be able to hold Desmond alive somewhere. And for absolutely nobody to go harm him.
Well, whether we get the dagger or not, I still think I should have council of smart people telling me what to do. And I think my dad should be on that council. And I think if Odin gets the stick out of his ass at some point, he could be pretty helpful too. He supposedly knows almost everything.
For the record, Cecily, you are very smart.
You are. But I understand. Treading
Well-
new territory is scary.
I'll take the compliment, but I am also 16. I'm gonna take all the advice I can get.
Suna's pretty smart too.
Suna,
nods.
do you want to be on my council of how to use the dagger?
Considering I am one of those aforementioned book magic people, yeah, I can help.
Good.
The last thing I will share with you, and then I regretfully need to depart with all of you. After so many versions, I know where I need to be in the end. Emerald. There is one thing that Nalthian was right about at the end of time. Emerald has to die.
Are you talking all forms of him? Like both this evil one and the one that's been helping us? Like, total?
I don't know. All I know is that there is an Emerald responsible for doing two things. Ending everything. And beginning the ending. In a few weeks, in a liminal space between reality and time and spirits, he will complete something called the Forsaken Ritual. A ritual that only the most advanced spellcasters would even have a chance at completing. Over the course of about 18 seconds. While having the ability to maintain concentration on 3 spells at once. This ritual will bring back all of the 13 Forsaken, regardless of if they've been destroyed by balefire. It pulls them from other times, from other space. If that happens, if the Forsaken ritual is completed, it's over. The war against the Shadow will have started and ended on the same day. Regardless of how many of you must die, that ritual must be stopped. For if it is not, it has all been pointless.
Why can that ritual only be stopped with his death?
Because every other time it's been stopped, he's died.
But we're not wanting the ending of every other reality, right? Those all go terribly. If we want something new, we have to do new things. Perhaps one of those things is keeping Emra with us. And also stopping the ritual.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe. Well, that's everything I can offer all of you. And what I can tell you is summer and spring truthfully enjoyed your company greatly. They were both very thankful for the time they got to spend with all of you. And if this truly is the last timeline, and the last chance I'll ever get to say anything to all of you, I'm very appreciative that you kept them safe and alive for as long as you did. And even when they did not live, you did everything you could to make sure they got a second chance. So thank you for that.
We do it for all of the Wrenchies, but thank you for your help. I know it was hard to give.
It's only because I've learned after so many lives, the cruelest thing any one of you can give me is hope. Because that is what hurts most when everything else is gone. But hopefully that doesn't happen this time.
I don't think you're right there. Hope isn't the cruel thing, losing it is.
Hope is what drives us.
In the end, when all is ash and dust, you will see that there is no difference. Farewell, wanderers. I hope this time it's different.
Then?
In previous timelines, I've learned that it does no good to tell you, but Carasilla, in the effort of doing things differently, I'm headed to Afera. Specifically, I am headed to New Afera to pay a visit to one wizard tower. Farewell. And with that, he will begin to walk out the door.
As he's walking out the door, Ajax is just going to
say, Frenchie.
Kind of walk over to him.
Till we meet again.
And he's going to put his hand out.
He'll give a nod and he'll return the handshake.
And mid-handshake, Ajax is going to
go. Good luck.
Thank you. And he'll leave.
Jeez, have we even had breakfast yet?
I'm starving, but I don't think we have time.
Okay.
What is our next plan of action? All of us.
Gotta get to this spirit place. We know where it is, right? Somebody does?
I do.
We should seek out Desmond, right?
Well, the tree spirit guy, little worm boy, said that we needed information at Taka. What was the place called? We needed
Tatakawa.
Yeah. Yeah, the spirit said we would need information there. It would be very helpful. And as far as I'm aware, it's sort of on the way. So, yeah.
Then our second order of business is, what do we do about Desmond?
Well, it does sound like having that dagger would be very, very useful, but it's a risk.
It's a risk we need to take. We need that dagger. I think the matter of whether or not Desmond is kept alive or not is not really up to us.
Kind of glances towards Suni.
Yeah, no, I heard the whole thing. Okay.
Just a thought. But we have to make that decision.
Well, perhaps one thing we can do in the meantime is try and find some kind of way we'd be able to at least perhaps break the enchantment. Depending on what exactly it is that's binding it, forming whatever it is. Could either be arcane or something different. More of a cursed aspect. In which case, I suppose Suni might be able to break it with something divine.
Well, do any of you possess magic to remove curses or break enchantments?
I think she's right. I think that's mostly a Suni question.
Yeah, Suni would have a remove curse.
Yeah.
That's what I was hinting at in game.
I do. And I'm not gonna lie, I would really like to do that because, ooh, I really want to kill the bastard.
Maybe. Thought. There will be information we get at the spirit place that makes this decision easier to make.
It's possible. I like that we have at least some sort of idea of what we're going to do in case... I mean, we do kind of need to rush, apparently, so in case we don't have enough time to really sit there and think about stuff, you know?
Yet time is unraveling as we speak, literally.
Yeah, that's... Oh, when you put it like that, okay, I'm going to start making breakfast. We can get ready to go. I am going to make leaf wraps. You're going to learn to love them. They're great for being on the road.
That sounds like something you needed to learn to love.
I did for many years. And she's gonna just immediately walk to whatever little. Does the sanctum have a kitchenette, Carosilla?
It does have a little kitchenette.
Hell
I see
yeah.
it for Ajax. But I mean, anything that's taken out of it will cease to exist. So we eat here, or we're eating dirt.
I can't make meal bars for the party. Damn.
Just grab something, shove it down your gob, and we're out.
All right. Well, she'll still make leaf wraps. They're easy to eat, but they're on the go food. It's like protein and grain just in a leaf, and she just makes it into like a cigar shape, and it's just a thing that you eat in like 4 bites. And as she's making it, she will explain that like this was the move. Whenever she would break out of the orphanage, you'd sneak into the back of her restaurant kitchen, and you'd make yourself a leaf wrap and get out of there because no one would notice what you took.
Smart.
Yeah.
Before we head out, Ajax is going to, I don't know, Carousel, is there a place to pray in here? Or does he have to just go to his room?
But didn't Carousel have an announcement to make?
Now I don't know what we're talking about.
I heard Gemma go,
I mean,
like, make
I know.
I heard a fish gasping for air.
That's the announcement.
We can talk about it over our leaf wraps.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, are we actually ready to... Because how long will it take to get to Tatakawa?
You'll need to rest one more time, and then you'll be there.
Yeah, because I mean, if we want to get on the road, because obviously, you know, we are wasting daylight, could always just have it that next rest.
Okay.
So before we leave then, Ajax is going to, this doesn't need to be role played out, but Ajax is going to pray to Paylor. He's going to ask for guidance and anything that he can, any information he can give him, because shit's hitting the fan. So Ajax is just trying to reach out to Paylor at all.
Is there a chapel next to the kitchenette?
That's why I asked if there was a place to pray. If not, Ajax is in his room.
I mean, there's a big old brazier off the Beatamon, which is semi-connected to Paylor.
That's close.
Ajax is there.
Yeah. Ajax, make a religion check.
Ooh, nice. That's pretty good.
Okay. You do hear a pained old voice speak to you. There is no light that you feel, and there's no warmth. This echo in your head of what sounds like a sick old man.
There is no light I can give to you, my son. This fight is yours and yours alone, for the gods. For the gods we begin to perish, to hold off the Dark One's grasp.
That's what you hear.
Well, shit. Okay. Ajax is now scared. But he rejoins the group. Doesn't say anything. That's it.
Okay.
Bianca's not reaching out to Hades, but has she felt any sort of weakness? I mean, their connection's kind of loose anyway, but anything out of the ordinary?
With Hades now.
Okay. That's all.
Okay.
Leaf wrap.
Alrighty. So all of you head back out into the forests of Opokami, leaving behind Carasilla's Sanctum. And you begin your journey. Now, the entirety of Opokami is a land bereft of life. I mean, even the bamboo shoots near you seem rotted and gray in most places. The leaves near the top, they wilt and fall with the slightest gust of wind. But even that, the air is still. There are no animals, there are no birds, no crickets, no nothing. The only sound is the crunching of dead leaves underneath your feet. You walk for 10 hours, till eventually the overcast, dark day begins to shift to an overwhelming blackness of night. And rest needs to be had once more. Carasilla, you do begin to recognize the shift. The edges of the forest around you are burnt. Maybe 2 hours away from here is the city of Tatekawa. And Carasilla, as you look forward, you begin to hear the bells. As the world around you begins to shift. Tendrils of ethereal blue approach. They arrive at your feet Everything around you freezes. Your companions freeze, but you yourself, you still can move. The tendrils reach near your feet, and you can see they move in a snake-like motion. They beckon you forward. Do you follow them?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Okay. So, you follow. Tendrils you walk and walk and walk till eventually you see a magnificent city overcast in blue light, made of a true spiritual essence. A version of Tatakawa that you, Carousela, have never been familiar with. This is a mimic of what you had seen when you came. The path forks in front of you. Two ways you can walk. You get a sense for which leads where. To the left, you can sense Iseo, the master of the fourth. And to the right, you can sense Emperor Takahiro. Two separate paths. And in this moment, only one can be traveled.
I mean, I think a good part of her wants to go down the route to the Emperor to, you know what happened and see obviously what went down, especially if he's like the origin basically of the curse. But I think despite that, her feet will choose the other one towards Iseo. Because, I mean, she saw kind of, I guess, the start of the fallout from realizing that something's up with his buddy there. And she doesn't know if the split was him trying to obviously counterbalance and, I guess, not do the harm that the Emperor was obviously going down. But I think also part of her just wants to see if he's okay,
Mm-hmm.
And so she'll go towards Iseo.
Okay. So you approach that path. You follow the winding road leading deeper into the city till eventually you arrive in a training arena of sorts. You can see Master Iseo practicing his sword forms. A delicate dance of slashes and cuts, till eventually he returns to a default resting position, sheathing his sword and turning. And as his eyes slowly come across the hall, he makes eye contact with you. At least for a moment you think it's you. Your heart sinks. Is this like Malice? Is this like Elendar? Can he see me? Can he talk to me? But then a form moves past you. An elvish man, golden complexion and golden hair, wearing robes of white and gold. I say, oh, still training the sword forms? Good. They look nice. Of course, I wouldn't expect any less from the captain of the Emperor's Guard.
Solvis, yes, it is a great honor for you to welcome me in your presence. Please. I have a sense that due to your, position nowadays, you have this desire to greet everyone with such, formality. Please. Don't worry about it. In fact, I think that it is better if in this moment we are candid with one another. You see Isaiah kind of cock his head and nod. Emeril steps forward again and says, Isaiah, I'm afraid that I have bad news for you. You have always been a loyal member of the Hidden Flame, and I'm afraid I have something to ask of you. Something that I do not know if you are ready for. You see Isaiah sort of squint and cock his head and not respond verbally. Initially, I thought that the Emperor... I simply thought that he had made a pact with an archdevil. And so I investigated, to be sure, and I was right. To obtain his magical prowess and to gain sway over some of the more staunch dissenters in Shiroi, he made a pact with Mephistopheles, granting him power, granting him charisma, granting him an air where people couldn't help but believe the words he said. But you see, upon further investigation, Takahiro was using Mephistopheles. Takahiro is truly a servant of the great Lord of the Dark. He has come to Upokami for one thing in particular: to throw this land into corruption and disarray so the vaults beneath Akai City can never be opened, so the Dark One's corruption can be true, complete, and overwhelming. Before that corruption can take place, Iseo, you must do the unthinkable. It will plunge your nation into chaos and war. When history's right about it, they will claim that you fought single-handed against an army, nation, an entire nation of Dark Friends. But in reality, they are just trying to avenge their emperor. I do not do this lightly. I wish I could say this is the first time I've had to send a friend after one they love, but it is not. These are the sacrifices we must make. Iseo, stone-faced, says nothing at first, but then says, I won't do it. Find someone else. Or you do it. You're here, after all. Why make me? Why continue to have other people do your dirty work? You do it. I will not kill him. I thought you might say that. Very well. You will allow him to corrupt these lands, and you will allow the Dark One to consume Adarashi. I'm sorry, Iseo. I thought you were different. Farewell. And Iseo, from now on, although you might not have the vision to permit it, please try and be conscious of who may listen in on these conversations, as eyes slowly begin to drift to you, Carasilla. You never know when a rodent might weasel their way in. Iseo, looking confused, sort of nods his head. And in this panged echo within the room, you hear Carasilla. Well, well, well. Learning something new. Sadly.
Scared of a mouse?
Sadly, Carasilla, it's too late. And with late, an echo envelops you, and it begins to ring in your head. Late, 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 late. And with that, you return to the forest. As all of you noticed, Carasilla only stopped walking for a second or two, where she just kind of stopped. And as all of you turned around to look, Carasilla, you immediately come back to and shake your head, and you can see your companions looking on you with a little bit of concern.
The dreams again?
Dreams? But, was a new face this time?
Who?
Emerald.
The one we are friendly with, or?
No. Well, I mean, when he walked in, he seemed like the one we're friendly with. But I mean, the two of them were talking about the Dark One. But he didn't say that. He did call him the Great Lord of the Dark, which is odd. It's normally something you only hear out of Dark friends. And then he saw me as well. And I think out of anything that solidified everything, that this is certainly no friend to us.
He saw you like Malice did?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Oh, nothing happened to me. That is what you mean. He just mentioned it was too late before the vision ended. He was there to try and tell Iseo to kill the Emperor. That it was what was needed to stop corruption happening. Although, given the questionable status of the Emerald, I don't really know what the truth was there. If anything, I would have thought a dark friend would wish the Emperor to succeed in what he was doing.
Didn't we just learn that the Emperor was killed and put a curse on Tatekawa?
Maybe he was a pawn in the Dark One's plan.
Suppose. Like a
Sounds
seed of some sort, you know? Dark One acting like a parasite, getting within him.
and plunge the land deeper into darkness. Sounds like that Emeril was trying to be on the side of good. Ultimately, he was trying to get him to kill the Emperor so that all of this could happen.
The other thing is, I say I refuse to. At least in that moment. I don't know what changes, or if it even is him that goes through with it.
Right.
Do we know where he was killed?
Nothing of specifics, no. Just, I suppose, somewhere in the city.
I'm sure if you continue to have those dreams, we'll find out.
Just be careful. You're meeting very powerful people in these dreams, and I hate that you're alone. And we know you don't back down from a fight, so...
Are you able to feel these dreams coming? Or do they just happen?
Not with enough notice, no.
Okay.
I would just hear the chimes and then I'm there.
Well, let's get far enough to have our final rest before reaching the city, and we can talk more about it there if we feel like we need to discuss anything further. Also, this is a Felicity thing, unless we wanted to finish up that conversation in character. Anyone had anything else? I didn't want to rush past any points. Okay.
Go for it.
So one thing, Emerald was saying something about a corruption in the vaults under Akai City. Is this the first time we've heard about this? And do we have any other information regarding this?
The only access point known to the realm of spirits, specifically the
right.
Where is it at here?
The thing that Malice, or the thing that Malice's little hench guy was telling us about.
Correct. Yeah, the only access point to that is in a vault underneath Akai City.
So now, I was just curious about the corruption part of it. Or it said to not open it?
Yeah, I thought the corruption could only take hold because what was in the vaults was basically lost because, you know, everything collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not corruption in the vaults.
Okay, yeah,
It's
I was
corruption destroying access.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Chicken before the egg.
Just trying to make sure I have everything straight.
The vault is unable to be accessed not because of the corruption, it's just unable to be accessed. There is corruption inside the spirit world.
Okay.
Egg before the chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, I wouldn't be so specific about semantics like that, but in this instant, it is important.
So
yeah, we're in the thick of it.
So then vault bad, right? Because the vault is the thing that leads to leads to the
So-
spirit world, and that has the corruption in it.
So we don't want it to be opened, even if we could access it.
I don't know if that's true though, because Suni's legacy thing is being able to access the vault. So I think it's more just. I think the vault is neutral. I think whoever opens it is the issue.
Well, it's like, because like the vault is like, you know, a little floodgate, and we have like a dam or something, and we've got this pool on high ground, and that's the spirit world. The pool is just a pool, but someone's like put a bunch of toxic waste in it, and so we don't want that to open the dam, you know, and let everything else flood out, right?
So if we open it, we need to be prepared to fix it.
We need to find a way to like detoxify it.
Yeah.
Which
And
maybe
then it should be
Suni
fine.
can do, but that's a good point.
Feels more like a Suni thing to do.
Because I
Because the
think
vault's also containing the corruption, right?
it would open up access to the corrupted spirit realm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
So I think it's
Puzzle
yeah.
pieces.
So I think it's, so if we get to it first and have a way to fix it, then vault good.
Cool.
Vault neutral. Who opened it is good or
Currently.
bad. I
Yeah,
think is
yeah.
really we just gotta. Whoever opens it shouldn't do it on accident.
Yeah.
We should have a plan.
It's starting to sound like slam poetry. Vault neutral. Who opened it? Bad.
Talking about your emotions, you know.
Wow. Not the
Will
fucking
my
finger
vault be
snaps.
opened?
Christ died for our Cynthias. All right.
Ajax is going to say his classic, keep your eyes open. As we
Cool.
continue walking.
I will close my eyes.
No, Carosilla, open your fucking eyes.
So you guys do need to rest one more time before heading in there, especially because Carousel has an announcement to make, as I recall.
Yeah. I
don't know what it
would
is,
like to, in non-roleplay heavy, I would like to use Carosilla's hands to cast Sending before tomorrow. I want to, and I hope it's okay that I'm not wording these super specifically. I just want to be quick about it, so I'm not taking up time. Cecily wants to ask, just report some of the new information to Tyr and ask if he learned any of the things he was reading about. Because he specifically said he was going to dig into Dream World stuff and maybe have answers last time they talked. So now seems like a good time to ask. And then she's going to message Poe and just say, like, yo, you see that shit in the sky? Are you good? Where you at? We're fine. You know, just that kind of thing.
So Tyr, what he will tell you is that he has been trying to find any and all information possible, but in any of the great libraries and any of the cities that he travels to, a lot of that information was checked out by a mistress. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. Malice's name that she was using in Brahmsgrove.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All of the books in various libraries between Hearthcrest to Brahmsgrove to Port Lemnos, even some in Odero. All of those books have been checked out and they were never returned. Some of the colleges, they have copies that they kept on sort of these like magical recording devices. And so he's been able to dig in a little bit more, but the only thing that he's found really is that so much of the culture behind spirits and their influence on the material plane originated in Arashi. So nothing super new to report there, sadly, because it seems like Malice beat him to it.
Cool.
And then for Poe, Him and Alec are currently in the Gemstone Archipelago. The dark friends they've been fighting have been stronger, and especially the Bansheen. Especially the Bansheen have been stronger. But he's okay.
Cool. I will flick the nearest basin of water. And that's it. Cool. Just want to make sure I didn't lose all that in the all this shit getting thrown at us.
You're good. There's a big old stew you guys are in right now.
Yeah.
Shit stew.
Are we
shit stew.
Are we currently resting right now? Like, have we reached the point of resting, or were we gonna run into some?
Yeah, no, you guys so you guys.
Is there gonna be combat?
Like I said, you guys have been walking for about 10 hours, and Carasilla got that spiritual vision right at the point that you were going to start resting. It was like you'd been walking for 10 hours, and Tatakawa is only 2 hours away, so it's better that you rest now before pressing forward. So yeah, you guys are into the sanctum now.
Okay. Because I know Carasilla has her announcement, but I also was thinking about doing ascending, if okay to do sending.
Yeah, man. I've used like none of my spell slots. Take them all.
Ajax also has ascending he wants to do.
Wait, really?
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I am message pigeon.
But yeah,
He's sending
Bianca's
to
gonna actually reach out to Kiyothi to do a check-in and also check in on her dad. So I think if it's okay to do kind of like a loosey-goosey thing, she's basically gonna be like, how are you doing? Hoping to connect soon. We miss you, and how is Maester / how's her dad doing? So somewhere along those 4 points, she wanted to check in regarding that.
She will say, I am safe now. Your father was wounded, fighting everyone, but he is alive. Captain Fedorov didn't make it. But
you monster.
The others still live.
Who still lives? Sorry.
The others.
Okay, yeah. Bianca will relay that to everybody and also say Kiyothi is safe, but I don't think she's okay. Yeah. But I say thank you.
Okay. Ajax, you step up next in line.
So I love the idea of fucking Bianca's dad taking down a Forsaken.
I want to see it.
Goddamn.
Yeah, Ajax casts sending to Carasilla. I'm just kidding. Don't fucking have no
Do I just get like feedback?
Yeah, honestly, that's really what it is.
It's like you have the person's phone. Yeah, the person's phone next to the phone is calling them, and you just say hello, and it's like hello. It just starts.
Gross. Take psychic damage.
Ajax did want to talk to Bianca, but
chit chat.
I'm just trying not to take a lot of time.
We can keep it brief.
All right, fine. Ajax finds Bianca.
Okay.
Question.
Answer.
Do you still have any sort of relationship with the Raven Queen?
Not. We have not spoken. Actually, wait. I think the last time we spoke was in a graveyard after you had come back. And it was essentially just a farewell, a promise to still hold her in honor. And she did say there was possibility that I could earn my way back as a Valkyrie. I think
Makes sense.
with my time apart, I don't know if I can do that, especially with what all is to come. It's going to be hard to see death and view it as a Valkyrie and not from how I view it personally, so.
Right. Well, what about Hades?
We are still, and I mean, it's a little different. It's more like he's my pal, but yeah, we're still good.
I ask this question because I think you should, for the purposes of science, I don't know, reach out to one of them. I reached out to Paylor yesterday, and I did get a response. And he sounded old, and sounded like he was dying. And he said that the gods are starting to vanish because they're holding back the Dark One.
I can try and reach out to both. I think reaching Hades will be more successful, but I can try.
I just want to confirm, I guess.
No, yeah. I'm glad you brought this up because, I mean, that's great context to know where they're at in this fight, too. I mean, things are really ramping up, so it's no surprise that they're doing their part as well, right? So.
And you don't have to reach out now. I know you have your relationships with gods. And
better now than, I mean, tomorrow we're going to Takakawa, and I want to be there for Karasilla. I know she's got a lot that she needs to talk about, and I'd like that to be the focus rather than where we're at with the gods. So,
okay.
Let me just see. It's probably going to be really quick. So.
Okay. You want me to leave or stay here? Or...
No, it's
okay.
it's not going to be
just...
anything personal. So.
Okay, I'll sit on this bench right here.
Yeah. So I think, assuming they're also by that fire, she'll try to reach out to Hades first, specifically like trying to connect with that fire and maybe use thaumaturgy to like make it brighter and warmer and bigger, as she like stares into the flame, and in like almost like an under her breath kind of prayer, she'll say, "I understand that things are weakening on every front lately. I just wanted to check in and see if you're all right."
I am, but the Raven Queen. I do not know if she still lives.
Is that all that he says?
Yeah.
Ajax, the flame, like, really dims down basically just to like embers, and Bianca like takes a step, like almost like leans back, just kind of like in shock.
What is it?
Hades is fine, but the Raven Queen might be dead. Like gone. Which is so bad.
How can it like dead?
I thought gods just recycled. Like, once one retires, another has to, like, take the place, right? But that's really bad because the Raven Queen, threads of life, similar to the weave, she's got all that connected. Okay, I don't know how Hades would know better than me, but I gotta try. I gotta see if there's anything. Shit.
Just take a breath before you reach out. Calm your nerves.
And then I'm trying to see, I don't have the lantern anymore, but I think I still have Reaper's Toll. Yeah, because I gave the lantern to Thrud.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have the Reaper's Toll, so she'll pull out that short sword and like kind of like close the one eye that is good, and then keep the spiritual eye focused on Reaper's Toll, and almost like go more into like a meditative state, kind of like when she would try and see spirits, and see if she can just see any connection to not just like, wait, is her flame eye affected if the Raven Queen is dead? Or, oh, things are happening with the music.
Bianca, you look inward and attempt to connect with the sword. The eye has dimmed since the Thrall because you broke your oath, powered only by your flame, your inner desire, and your drive. The sword has been dormant until you've drawn it now. You hold it within your hands. You grip the haft of the blade and you trace your fingers along the glass flat of the blade. And as you do, the flame crackling underneath your feet, these embers providing only a small bit of light. You see cracks forming on the blade. You feel coldness envelop you. The chill of being alone, staring in to a conduit of her power and seeing nothing. You feel nothing, you hear nothing. And Bianca, in that moment, the vision of the flame eye you can feel begins to fade until it is nothing but embers as well. One weak god and one flame of embers from Hades. And as far as you can tell, Bianca, a dead god and a dead flame inside your head. As that realization drops your stomach, you see the sword, those cracks begin to widen, snap, and crack. The blade shatters into 1,000 pieces, nothing left but the hilt and crossguard, which you can see that even crumbles to dust and ash.
Is she still in this, like, trance, seeing all this?
I would say for a few moments, until eventually the flames of the hearth in front of you, which you use to commune with Hades, slowly begins to return, and the wafting of that smoke hits you, and that kind of shocks you back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when she's back, I think she's kind of like beginning to hyperventilate, and then like tries to like calm herself back down. Ajax.
Yeah, Ajax sees. I mean, he sees the blade obviously turn to dust, and he's already like next to Bianca, and like kind of wiping the dust off of her hands, and just kind of puts his hand like on the back of her shoulder, and says,
"It's going to be okay."
She is gone. Gone. There's no god of death that's keeping balance.
There is, but not one as powerful as her.
No, it's different. There are gods of death, but not for the sake of balance.
Normally I would try to say something uplifting at this moment, but this is bad. But we have to keep pressing forward.
No, we do. We have to. And I don't know how we could fix that. Maybe there's just an empty hole that can be replaced one day. Because it seemed like there was room, but there was just nothing. Like there was nothing reached out to me at all. Nothing good or bad. It just was nothing.
We have to.
Maybe there's a chance that if we fix this, that can be replaced.
We can hope. That's all we can do, is hope.
Hades sounded scared.
So did Paylor.
I think Bianca would just lean in to hug Ajax because she's scared.
Yeah, Ajax pulls Bianca in and hugs her and says,
"Everyone is fighting this war. Everyone. But we will be victorious. We have to be."
You just feel her nod her head, and yeah, she's like ready to go listen to Carasilla and support and keep moving forward, but she's just in this moment pretty demoralized, like anyone probably would be. And I just have a curiosity question. So her eyes now just embers, like no flame at all kind of thing?
Blue embers, yeah.
Wow. Damn. Well, that was spicy. Did not see any of that. I don't want to say I didn't see it coming, but like I didn't see it coming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we knew the gods were in trouble, but like holy shit.
Yeah, Ajax is going to just kind of sit there with Bianca for a little bit until Bianca feels better enough to walk and talk to the rest of the party, and he will say,
"We should tell them. But I don't know if we should before. What Carasilla's going to say."
We need to tell them, but I don't want to. I want us to be able to get our hope back before we do so we can guide them. Because if we're all feeling demoralized, it's not gonna be good. And I want to be able to support them.
I agree.
So, one step at a time. But we need to be there for Carasilla right now.
Let's go find her.
We walk to wherever Carasilla is.
Like Sims, apparently.
I mean, I think. Okay. I think. Switching over Crisis over there. I think for most of the morning, Carousel would just be in her room, but as y'all come out, I'll say it's like the same time that she was also leaving her room, so there's that awkward thing of like, both in the hallway. Because, yeah, she just, assuming everyone else is down there, getting ready to leave, that's when she'd want to speak. Not that it's a big thing, it's just I feel like it's easier if just everyone in the party's there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, once everyone's there, I feel like it would take a moment, but something seems off, and you'd eventually kind of come to the realization that her gleaming cloak, she's not wearing it as a cloak. She's wearing it as if it was just, like, another one of her skirts right now. And you can, like, just catch part of it just, like, peeking out from one of, like, the overskirt things that she's got. But once everyone's there, she will kind of look to Suna briefly as she starts. As I suppose some know, I've been in Tatakawa before. The Children of the Flame have been in Tatakawa before. And the city was not destroyed by any corruption, Desmond or otherwise. It was one of the last few standing in Opakami after all, and the thing that destroyed it was the Children of the Flame. More specifically, I feel I should say, it was on a mission that was headed by Draven. One that Moen and I were sent on with our troops. That we, in some respects, assisted with. Though I'd like to be perfectly clear, as soon as we realized what Draven intended, we tried to argue him out of it, but at the time we thought he was a pompous dick, not a dark friend, so we didn't get anywhere. And so we did leave before everything happened. But I bring it up because if we are meant to get help from the spirits there, they've no reason to give it to me, at least. Or to trust me, especially, and I worry that means they won't trust the rest of us as well. Because this would mark the second time going in there asking to be able to help. And they'd be smart if they learned from the first time.
Question for the DM again. This definitely predates Ajax, right? Like, Ajax was already out of the Children of the Flame at this point, and knows nothing about this.
Postdates him, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he knows nothing about this.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And how long ago was this? Actually, Ajax should probably ask that in character.
How long ago was this?
Around a year and a half ago. A few months before I met with, well, most of you. But it's also not a city anymore. I feel like that would be clear enough. Everyone that was there was assumed either killed or otherwise ran away, and I think it's clear enough how hospitable this land is.
It's good to know, though, as we're going in. Granted, this is different, but I know what it's like to have angry spirits blame you for something because of your relation to it. They couldn't directly harm me, it was more tormenting, so I do fear with you being able to slip so easily between material and ethereal that could have stronger consequences than just emotional turmoil. I wish we could find a way to help ground you a little bit, just so you had a little bit more control of when you were slipping in. I know you've started to have some control, but it still can just blend over, right?
Right. I won't lie, I was almost considering hanging back. Letting all of you go through. Probably have better odds than I. But I also think having that connection is more than likely going to be important as well. Hardly seems like a good idea.
Let's be honest, we won't get very far without you, so...
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to talk you into that one.
And besides that, Carasilla, you're a person of healing, and that's what this land needs. That's what these spirits need, and they clearly will not be ready upon when we first enter to hear it from you, or probably any of us. But if there's one thing I know that you do well, it's bringing peace. And I couldn't think of anyone better for the challenge, even if it seems scary and daunting, and maybe a little bit of shame, because you shouldn't be ashamed. You tried your best. And coming back to not hiding away from it now shows a lot of your character.
She was kind
We
of
got
smile
you.
and nod at you.
Just if you slip through into the ethereal world, try and take one of us with you if possible.
That would be ideal.
Suppose we'll see.
You know, I don't think this is the worst thing that one of us in this party has confessed to. I really think we can make it through this. But I'm also glad you said so.
I would also think that although you may hold yourself responsible or accountable, it was not your doing, and you should not feel that way. And I know no matter any word I say, it will not change those feelings. Just know that we don't hold you accountable. It was not your fault. And we're going to fix it.
Let's hope so.
We have to, right?
We don't have a choice.
How many times has Ajax said that? This is... We need a counter. There's no shade to you, John. It's just true.
After every conversation, that's what I'm going to say.
I mean, it is kind of true. What the fuck else are we going to do at this point?
Yeah.
We
I just
kind
need
of
to
have
get
to
this
keep
driving-
going.
I
Throw
just
in
need
the
to keep
towel.
driving the point home.
Bianca will put an
Also-
arm around Carasilla, trying to comfort her.
This is a question. So, hold on, I have a question. And this is probably in my small brain. I thought Tatakawa has been fucked up for a long time. It's only been fucked up for a year?
Well, the thing is it's one of the things Winterwrench said is it's cursed perpetually just to be this awful, unbearable place. And when Carasilla and Morwen were here, it wasn't a hotspot of humanity, but people still live here, you know? Same as like how people, I don't know, still live in.
Don't say it.
Yeah, pick any shitty city.
There's no good option.
Yeah, Gary, Indiana. I don't know.
Don't say it. God damn it. I have friends there.
What's that one? That video from 14 years ago about somewhere in Philadelphia?
No, it's the Cleveland one.
Cleveland, yeah.
The Cleveland, Ohio tourist video, and the slogan is "At least we're not Detroit."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So people still live there, and every time it ends poorly. The thing is, I will say, Carasilla, you would have gotten updates about Tatekawa, you know, pretty frequently since it was considered to be a hotbed for Dark Friend activity. Nobody ever returned to Tatekawa after it was burned down by Draven Hunt and his compatriots. You and Morwen didn't have that much to do with it, but you were still there. But no one's returned since then. It's been a ghost town since the last burning a year and a half ago.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, unless there's any other business, I say we get going. Who wants leaf wraps again? Those were great yesterday, weren't they? Those were awesome.
They were pretty good. I'll take some.
She's gonna go do it again.
Can we also make pancakes?
The last thing Ajax says before we head out.
You hear very faintly, "Oh, so the leaf wraps were good enough for you," as they disappear into the kitchen.
No, I'm just 400 something pounds.
Big boy.
That is fair. That's a lot of leaves.
Big kitty.
That's like 4 Cecilies.
Yeah, Ajax is 7 foot 430 or some shit like that.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, the crazy thing is too is like I don't even think that's. I think that's still less than a real lion by quite a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
They're dense.
Hold up. Oh no, actually, male lion average mass is 420.
Blaze it.
Male Leonin
Nice.
man is only just shy of that.
Yep. It's 'cause
Average
he's like
lion
1% body
speed.
fat.
Average lion speed is 46 miles per hour in short bursts.
Well, Ajax's speed is 45.
Hell yeah.
Crazy.
Lifespan 15 years.
Oh shit.
Wait, no, female 15 years, male 10.
Oh fuck.
Makes sense.
Ajax needs to die again soon. All right, are we leaving?
Okay, let's head out. We have places to be. The world is unraveling.
Your conservation status is vulnerable. All right, I'm done.
Okay.
The world is a vampire.
Alrighty. So with that, as all of you leave behind Carasilla's sanctum, you begin to make your way towards the burned ruins of Tatekawa. And we're going to go ahead and take a break right there. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. So that'll be 50 your time, hour blank, 50-minute your time. All right, we'll be right back.
To finish the story.
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
he's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where. Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden. In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side. So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you'd get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, Every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now is left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden. In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spore's eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side. So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you'd get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item.
during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is, instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5 Blighted Warden. In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spore's eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side. So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you'd get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Hey, everybody. Just kidding. We're going to end the stream here because the stuff that is happening right away is relevant for all party members. So we're going to wait until we have all party members here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.